Guys, are we ready? Should we start? Hi, everyone. My name is Sophia Franco. I'm a writer. I write for various community magazines. I wrote a children's book. I'm a lyricist. I wrote I Can Be and a few songs for Yaakov Shweki. And I am here to welcome you today. Thank you for coming. I love you all for being here and for wanting to be here. So when I asked one of the panelists, why are you doing so many things at the same time? She said, because I can. I love that answer. Look at you guys. Look how many of you showed up on time to be inspired, to gather knowledge, to connect, and to network. Show me now, with a show of hands, how many of you are either working for yourselves or for someone else, even volunteer work. How many of you are working? Raise your hand. That's amazing. That's amazing. So 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, I don't think we would have half as many hands up. Just in my own circle, I want to say that 7 out of 10 of my friends are working, either out of their homes or working for someone, in addition to being wives and mothers. And it's not even so much that they're all women, but that their businesses are all interesting and different. Women are creative, and they just take things to the next level. So if I start to list the businesses, it will never end, and we'll be here till tonight. But go up and down Main Street, go up and down Norwood Avenue, Kings Highway, Avenue U. They are all women-owned businesses, all of them. Then there are the cooks and the bakers, even the lovely Jennifer Sid, who has graciously let us borrow her home for the day. Give her a round of applause, because this is the nicest house in Deal. Jennifer's thriving in her own catering business, in addition to the 100 other things she does, because she doesn't stop. I talked about retail businesses, but what about the wholesalers, the real estate brokers, the graphic designers, the hairdressers, the makeup artists, the exercise teachers, all you innovators that came up with brand new ideas or revamped old ideas. You girls are selling everything from bikinis to books to jewelry to mattresses in your home. And they're the personal shoppers and the gift wrappers, the interior designers, the art consultants, the diet coaches, the writers, the teachers. My friend Sophia Michon just went into a new business of spiritual head coverings. I'm only giving her a plug because I thought it was a fabulous idea. I cover my head when I light the candles on Friday night with a dirty towel or a pot holder. So she came up with this idea to make these beautiful lace head coverings. I just thought it was fabulous that she came up with a new idea. You need to look for a void to figure out what is missing in this world and what can I do to fill that void. So we have musicians and talent scouts and volunteers. And I want to say I applaud you all, whether you're working to make money to support or help support your family, if you're doing it for the independence, which it definitely gives you independence, if you're doing it for the extra cash, or if you're simply looking to grow and enrich your life and the lives of those around you, you are amazing. Every one of you, I am impressed and I'm so proud. Give yourselves a round of applause, really. I mean it. Come on. This room would have 10 people in it 10 years ago. So let's think. Many of the names and businesses that I've mentioned have been on this panel before, and many of them are Exceed clients. And if you've been in this audience before, then you know none of their roads were easy. None of their roads were smooth. Nobody skyrocketed to recognition without working hard. It doesn't just happen. It looks like that, but it doesn't really just happen. No one took the first step without shaking in their boots, and no one got to where they are without asking for help. That is where we Exceed come in. Women Exceed, which is the community advisory service for female entrepreneurs, is here to help you. You can call on us, pick our brains, ask us for guidance. It's free. We don't charge. Just come. After the holidays, we're going to be in Brooklyn once again, inside The Well. I don't know if you all heard about The Well. It's another amazing new asset for the women of this community. It's a learning center. So the fact that so many of the classes are already sold out. They just brought this out like this week. It's a testament to the fact that the women in this community want to learn and we want to grow. We are thirsty. So listen, I doubt myself many, many times, but here I am. I'm standing here on this podium, and I'm not afraid because I know you're all rooting for me. And I have Kim in the front row, and Nicole and Erwin somewhere back there by the bar. And you guys will all be here for me if I need you. And that's the beauty of Exceed, and that's the beauty of this community. We are here for each other. So to whoever did not raise your hand, maybe next year you will, because the opportunities are endless, and all you have to do is look inside yourself. What makes you happy? Think. If you want to do more in your life, then the answer is there somewhere. You just have to find it. If you already have an idea, maybe today's talks will help you formulate a plan and bring it to action. Or maybe you just came for the free lunch and the beautiful view, and that's okay too, because you know what? These women here today, they are going to wow you. And by the end of the day, even you skeptical ones might feel a little spark, and that's all it takes. And do you know why? Because you can. Without further ado, let me introduce Nicole Cohen of Sketch 42 blog. She's a writer, she's an interior designer, she's a photographer, and she's a professional creator of Vibe. And Nicole's going to moderate this panel with me. And let's bring up our panel. Eve Ellenhorn, Flavorful Fit. Eve. Orly Waba, Life Vest Inside. Sheva Perlman, The Analyst Group. Elizabeth Sutton, The Elizabeth Sutton Collection. And Judy Gabay, a.k.a. Glossip Girl. So. Ricky, hand them the mics, please. Ricky, hand them the mics. Okay. How was that? Great.
Check.
We got a life vest, exactly. Thank you.
So you have to share a little bit.
Okay, I'm all set.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, thanks for coming. Hi ladies. Why don't we start with a brief introduction and a few words about what you do.
Hi everyone, my name is Eve. I am a health coach. I recently became certified at the Natural Gourmet Institute, and I am a personal trainer. And growing into the movement has really changed my life, but it's also changing other people's, so I hope to be able to change more.
Very nice. Hi guys, Orly Waba here. I am the founder of Life Vest Inside, a nonprofit organization on a mission to inspire, empower, and educate people of all different backgrounds to lead a life of kindness. I got my start, actually, I was a middle school teacher for 7 amazing years. I'm sure I had a lot of children of a lot of the parents that are here today. And I left my job about 6 years ago to start the organization. Started with a short film called Kindness Boomerang that went viral on the internet. And this has been a really amazing 6 years. Just recently released a book called Kindness Boomerang, also named after the film. And working in the space of kindness, empowering people, because really the core of the organization, more than the word kindness, it's about empowerment, empowering people to understand their value, that each person is unique and significant in their own way.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sheva Perlman. I'm the founder and creative director of a marketing agency called the Nellis Group. So nice to see so many faces here of some of our clients and followers. Really nice. And I'm excited to be here, to be invited here, and to tell you a little bit about what we do and how we engage in the creative process and help so many business owners, primarily women business owners, brand and be able to go on to build thriving companies. So thrilled to be here.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Sutton. First and foremost, I'm a mother of 2. I am a self-taught artist and an entrepreneur. I am currently working on organizing a major fundraiser this fall for an organization called Art Start. In addition, I plan on launching a blog as well as I am coordinating a women's networking group that will be put together this fall as well. And lastly, I am currently designing an entire product collection of home accessories and decor that, God willing, will launch within about a year.
Hi guys, I'm Judy Gabay. Some of you may know me as Glossip Girl. I'm a makeup artist. I've been working in and out of the community for the past, I want to say, 8 to 10 years. and I'm really excited to be here with all these talented ladies.
And we're excited to have you.
I'm running right now. I don't know if you guys
Are you guys excited? Okay. All right, Sheva, your portfolio includes teaching teens, program directing, and then marketing directing. Now you're a business owner, and you're also a good cause guru, kind of like Orly. How did that evolve, and how did each profession help you with the next?
So my career started out in 6th grade when I came to school and my whole class wanted to go on a trip, and it didn't work out because the parents didn't want to chip in for us to go on a particular trip. So my friend and I said, well, there's a bakery right next door to the school, and no one's allowed to go out of the school.
How old were you?
6th grade. I said, if we could figure out a way to get to that bakery early, bring in those donuts, paste pictures of all the different flavors of donuts, get people excited, including the teachers, maybe we could make this happen. So really, I was marketing back in 6th grade, and the whole class ended up going on this trip. But I really started out as a teacher. I was a Judaic studies teacher, and I loved what I did. And I very much focused on bringing Judaic studies alive to the classroom and figuring out experiential ways of getting the students who were not necessarily from religious backgrounds to be able to be excited about Judaism and to make it alive. And the principal at the time saw that was happening, and she asked me to join on school-wide level and do it for the programming aspect, to do that for everyone in the school. And then the executive director saw that and said, hey, I love what you're doing for the school. Can you do this for us on a fundraising level? And my career kind of evolved. And at that point, NCSY approached me and asked me to become the national program director to be able to do this for teens throughout. And
When you're good at what you do, people notice.
thank you. When you love what you do, I think I loved the whole time. I really, 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 truly loved what I was doing. And I had no clue what marketing was. I just knew that I loved what I was doing. I loved doing it. And I was single at the time. I was older and single, and I said, hey, I want to go back to school. I want to be able to advance and learn more. And I was leafing through Parsons, a booklet in Parsons, and there was a class in there describing marketing. And I started reading about it, and I said, hey, this is what I've been doing my whole life. I just never really knew that this is what marketing was. And it was really a tough choice, because here I was set in my career, I was doing the things that I was loving to do, I was advancing my career, and to go back to school and start from scratch in a way, there was a fear factor of like, should I do this? I could continue being a teacher, and I could continue going in that process. But I went and took the leap, and I have to tell you, whoever's sitting here in the audience, that if you love what you do, and if you're able to combine it and go back to school, even though you may say to yourself, I'm older, I'm already established, I know what I'm doing, now I'm gonna go back to school. I did it, and I never for a minute looked back and regretted it. At that point, I don't know if I'm going over my limit, but at that point, I was.
How did teaching help you in your marketing career? And you also studied psychology, correct?
I did.
So how did teaching and psychology help you in marketing?
So I was going to say that during that time, there was an organization, Ornava, that was starting, and I was very good friends with the girl who decided to start it, and they reached out to me and they said, can you help us, give us some advice? What should we do? How should we do it? And I was graduating at that time from Parsons. And upon graduation, they said, okay, you're just becoming, the marketing director of the organization. And about 12 years ago, I would say, is when Ornava started, and we really allowed to be able to channel these skills of psychology and education and people and be able to grow this nonprofit organization. And a couple of years ago, I was able to start on my own and start my own company, the Nellis Group, which is basically a marketing firm that does exactly what I did for all these nonprofits and I did in the world of education. And I'm able to do it now one-on-one to business owners to be able to tap into those skills and empower them and give them the ability to go on to do what they truly love and to be able to put fear aside and jump in and be able to go out and capture it.
That's awesome. Thank you. Wow. Orly, you also started out as a teacher and ended up with a career in kindness. How did you do that? How did being a teacher help prepare you for Life Vest Inside? Also, tell us a little bit about how you came up with the idea.
Wow. Okay, so teaching, my 7 years teaching were probably the most transformative years of my life. I taught 7th and 8th grade, and whenever I tell people that, they start laughing like, you taught 7th and 8th grade? You like teaching 7th? I said, I loved it. The kids were really like my best friends, and the kindness is very much connected to that because, you know, Life Vest Inside, like I said, it's not just about kindness. The word kindness isn't the one word I would use to describe it at all. It's the word empowerment. It's helping people understand their sense of value, that they matter and that they're significant. And now while they might be 1 in 7 billion, the number that matters the most is that they're one. So often, so many of us place our value, our inherent value on these external things that really don't mean anything. It's just a facade. But if you teach someone to actually love who they are, to recognize their value, even with all their flaws, now you've opened them up to be able to achieve anything. Everything suddenly becomes possible. As a teacher, that was my main goal. I always say kindness is about helping people see the beauty in themselves, helping to see your beauty and then helping others see the beauty in themselves. And that's exactly what my years teaching were based on. I was also a Judaic studies teacher. I taught Chumash and Avi. And how could you not talk about life when you're talking about Chumash and Avi? It's all about life. It's all about love. It's all about kindness. And Life Vest Inside came about with my students. The projects that I worked on with my students are what actually propelled me to start the organization. Because so many times, my students would come to me and they'd say, Orly, you gotta get out there, you gotta talk to the world. You have to talk to the world. And I was scared. It was always a passion of mine and a dream of mine. Ever since I was a little 4-year-old kid that dreamed of changing the whole world, and everybody thought I was nuts, and they still think I'm nuts. But this was a passion of mine ever since I could possibly remember it. I would never been able to get there, to take that leap of faith to start the organization without my years teaching. It was, like I said, it was the most transformative time of my life. And it started during my summer off from teaching. I wanted to be able to show people that the ability that kindness has to go from one person to the next and inspire change. And so
What are some of the things that your organization does exactly?
that's a great question. So the organization, our mission is, like I said, to inspire kindness. How we do this? Through inspirational media like film and social media. Through technology, we've built various technology platforms, one of which is called Project Hope Exchange. It gives people an opportunity to record and to listen to 30-second anonymous messages of hope from people that have been through the same adversities that you've been facing. In addition, we've developed an educational kindness curriculum that embeds the concepts of kindness, compassion, and empathy directly into the already established curriculum, the same way like I was teaching when I was in school. And on top of that, also events, worldwide events. We have an event every year called Dance for Kindness. It's a worldwide flash mob that kicks off World Kindness Week. World Kindness Day is on November 13th. And we host the largest event last year. The event took place in over 50 countries, 120 cities, all on the same day. People from all different races, religions, backgrounds, uniting under the banner of kindness, celebrating what makes us human, as opposed to the differences that divide. So these are some of the things that we do to bring this message across.
It's amazing.
That's great. Okay, you're awesome. Her video, Kindness Boomerang, had how many views?
It reached well over 100 million people
100
globally.
million views.
My students were in the film, actually.
That's amazing. Okay, Judy, there are so many makeup artists in this community. My daughter-in-law is one of them. I'm going to give her a plug. And they are all fabulous, but you always aspired for more. You started from a very young age, 13. What is different about your business, and how were you able to go global?
So I think that the fact that I started in the community with all the support from my clients, from my family, that was a huge push for me because I had so many people from the community that gave me the opportunities to do their makeup when I was just starting out, to post them on Facebook. That was a huge thing. When Facebook first came out, I mean, how many years ago? I mean, nobody goes on Facebook anymore unless you're giving out Candy Crush Saga invites. But when it first started, that's what I used for my platform. Nobody else, people were posting vacation pictures or things like that, but nobody was really using it for advertisements. And that's when I first started. I started taking, we're the most beautiful women in the whole world, Syrian women, Middle Eastern women. So I took all of my clients and I posted them, and they were all very supportive of me. So I started like that. But I wasn't afraid to move forward outside of the community also. I think you have to get out of your comfort zone when it comes to working. you could be comfortable and you could be okay doing things. Okay, well, I have clients and I'm good, but how about if I push it? You know, how do I take myself out of it? By networking was a huge deal for me. I'm very friendly. I'm very social. I meet a lot of people. I take the contacts. I did a lot of free work. I paid my dues. I always tell my girls, whenever they say, how do I start? How do I start? And I say, pay your dues. Start somewhere. Do work for free. Post work. If you have friends that will model for
Tell them
you.
how you created your first portfolio, because I thought that was a great story.
With my family?
No,
with
no,
my
no,
friends?
no, no. Oh, okay, whatever story you want.
Which story are you talking about?
How you got the photographers that were looking for work.
Oh, that was okay. So the biggest catch-22 in the business is, I want to do a photo shoot. Even if I do it for free, the photographer's like, "Let me see your work," and I'm like, "I'm trying to make work right now. Like, can you help us sister out?" Well, I have to see work. So you couldn't get a photo shoot until you had a photo shoot. So it was pretty difficult when I first started. A lot of my work looked like cartoon stuff because I had, the photographers were terrible and photoshopped everybody to look like an anime character.
Models looking for photographs. And
Yeah, so this is what we do now. People still do it now. It's called Trade For, and they'll take somebody that is a model just starting out, a hairdresser just starting out, a makeup artist just starting out, a photographer just starting out, and a retoucher or a stylist, etc. And everybody will get together and do a Trade For photo shoot, and that's how you develop the work.
It's amazing. I love that.
And that's how I developed my work when I first started. Yeah.
Amazing. Elizabeth, tell us how you became an artist, what got you started, and who helped you along the way.
Well, I'm a self-taught artist, so I taught myself everything: painting, my whole business, suppliers, vendors, studio. I would say that what got me started, what motivated me, was necessity. I definitely felt a void within my own life. I had graduated, I got married young, I wasn't working full-time, and I was always struggling to keep busy. I interned for Nicole.
Very fun times.
Talking about paying your dues, I interned for a fashion line Parker throughout college, and then I really wanted to do my own thing. I love cooking. I thought I was going to do that, and then very organically, I had painted something for my son's nursery, and I posted it on Instagram, and somebody sent me a message saying, "Oh, I love your work. Can you make me something?" I was like, okay, a few days worth of work, some money, sure, why not? And then over the years, people had come through my home looking at the art on my walls, which I had made, and they asked me to make them things, and I never took it seriously. And when I decided this was what I wanted to do, I reached out to a bunch of them asking if they were still interested, and a bunch of them said yes, and I made them artwork, and then I'd have the art sitting in my lobby for 5 minutes while I was swinging my car around so I could deliver it to my clients. And some people in the building saw, they ordered, and then after about a month, Ryan Serhant, he's a real estate broker on a Bravo show, reached out to me. He knew I did art through a friend and said, "Oh, I have this amazing new development. I need artwork for it. Do you want to stage it?" I was on my way to Costa Rica to a family vacation. I said, "Sure, of course." He said, "Okay, I need it in 3 weeks." I had nothing to give him. And first thing I did, I get to Costa Rica, I put a post on Craigslist for a studio art assistant. I land back in New York, 9 a.m. I meet this guy. I said, "Okay, we're going to paint on my table for 3 weeks straight." And that's basically what I did. I staged this development. It ended up filming. And after that, I was like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm going to do. We come from a community where they're very successful, very connected people. I literally hit up everyone who I thought could help me. Everyone in real estate, who within art, that's how you get exposure very often.
You
in
can't be
lobbies.
shy, right?
No. So I hit everybody up. Restaurant owners, Jackson Town Residential. I put my artwork in some model apartments. I got my art up in some restaurants. And I became very active on social media, and it kind of all just grew organically from there. Yeah, that's how I got started.
I actually
Amazing.
once went to I was doing an event for ABC, and I was in like upstairs in a restaurant, and I looked behind like where they were serving drinks, and I said, "Is that Elizabeth Sutton?" And the guy looked at me, he goes, "Excuse me," and I felt so fancy. I'm like, "I know an artist, you know?" And it was Elizabeth Sutton's work, and he said, "It is an Elizabeth Sutton," and I was totally not connected at all. I was working for one of my clients on Bravo, and I saw your work there. It was a couple years ago.
Love it.
Love it. Okay, so Eve, you became a health and fitness coach as a result of your own growth and change. Tell us how a personal health need became your business and passion.
That's something I think we can all relate to. I've gone through my own struggles with my life. I know that, before we get married, like we are even like going through school, we have this hard time with like keeping up with like who's on the best diet and who tried this and what tried for them and like what worked for them. And I never seem to find that thing that really stuck to me. I've tried so many things. I've tried like the Atkins diet and Shakeology and Weight Watchers and all these different things that we think is like, oh my God.
Juice cleanse for 3 days straight and gained 2 pounds.
Yeah, so that's what would happen to me. I would go on these diets and lose 5 to 10 pounds and wouldn't stay off. And I finally met somebody who I thought really left a long trail in my life. And until today, she encourages me and mentors me on making business decisions. And her name is Julie Mala, if everybody knows who she is. And I think she's here. Introduced by Julie.
She made the lunches today, too.
And she's been on the panel.
And I actually went through my own thing where I had to figure out, and with the help of Julie, I was able to really figure out what I needed. And what I needed was really a sense of direction, because really the problem with food and with health is that you're not just going on a diet. You want to know how to fix all the other things in your life that's going to make you healthy. Like not just going on a diet, but also building a good mindset, doing good. Because when you do good, you feel good. And it keeps on pushing you to make it into a habit. So when I finally saw that it was working and I was really taking care of every situation in my life, I saw that it was working and the pounds were coming off. And people come up to me and they
Looks
say...
very thin now, but apparently...
She came up to me before in the morning and said that it didn't look like you were overweight. And it was a drastic change. And at a young age, when you gotta hit it, you gotta hit it at a young age because it becomes more difficult. And it worked. I lost all the weight, and my
lifestyle and a mindset.
Yeah, and my love for food has been at a young age entirely. Since I was like 2 years old, I was cooking. And changing that gave me the motivation to want to turn the food into something healthy to even help me boost it even more. So by doing that, and
Changed
then
over the recipes, right?
yeah, I redirected every recipe that I tried. I basically took like a Ferrero Rocher that I did at an event the other day. I repurposed it and used dates and used hazelnuts and chocolate, and it just had the same taste of it. I didn't feel guilty. And, I could still lose weight. So after I became certified with personal training, I became a health coach. And after that, I became a chef because I feel like I needed every single piece of that. And until today, I have about over 800 women that have been on this movement. And I can't say...
By the way, her movement, you heard what she just said? How many women?
800.
800 women. You know how long she's doing this? 23 weeks, I think, now. 23 weeks. She has 800 women.
So it's been changing. It's not like an ordinary diet. It's really changing everybody's homes.
And people are loving it.
And people are calling nonstop.
It's amazing. Sheva, some say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But you don't believe that statement. You are always innovating and thinking outside the box. You even offered a horse as a prize in a Chinese auction. Tell us about your approach to new ideas and endeavors.
Sure, I'd love to. So a lot of times in companies, there's this belief that exists. We've been doing this for many years. This is a system. This is how it works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if you really study it and you really look at it, sometimes there's so much more you could do if you just shift perspective. If you are, especially in the world of marketing, there's so many new mediums to use, whether it's social media, whether it's experiential marketing, whether it's event marketing, whether it's the ability to collaborate with others. And part of what I try to do and help clients is be able to look from that approach. When I was working in the nonprofit sector, you're mentioning the horse. How many auctions have we attended? There's, an auction every other week. And there's just so much jewelry that we could win. So one time we were sitting around and I said, why don't we raffle off a horse? And people looked at me like I fell off a horse. You know, like what, and where exactly are people putting this horse? You know, and what exactly are they doing with this horse? I said, it has nothing to do with the horse. It's not about owning the horse. It's about people walking around saying, did you hear this crazy organization that's raffling off the horse? And I was actually in a supermarket shopping, you know, grocery shopping, and I literally heard two women standing, did you hear these Meshuggahs? They're raffling off a horse, you know? And that just made me smile because that's exactly the point. The point is to try to think out of the box, to try to think not just because you've been doing it in your business and in your model, try to think of innovative ways to keep bringing in a fresh approach, and it comes back. It allows people to be able to buzz and to spread it forward. So that's...
I just want to say, Sheva also did the marketing for the well, correct? And if you like all these Instagram posts you're seeing, and that's all her work. So she really gets in the mind. She really does. Okay, who goes? Orly, sometimes running a nonprofit is harder than running a for-profit business. Tell us how, why.
Oh, yes. That's very, very true. Well, it's in many ways running a nonprofit is because a nonprofit is also looked at very often as a second-class citizen, as though it's not on the same level. But the truth of the matter is that nonprofits, especially in today's time, and I'm sure you could attest to this with the work that you've done with your nonprofit, is that it has to run like a business because it is very much a business. And you're accountable to being able to show the results that you are actually putting into
And people
play.
are donating money, so they want to see it spent properly.
1,000%, exactly, because it's coming through donations. And so a lot of nonprofits, myself included, are finding different ways to be able to bring in funds, not just through donations. I'm not looking at things through donations at all. People can donate. We don't receive a lot of donations because that's not the direction I'm looking to go in, but it's really developing strategic partnerships. What we've been able to do as a nonprofit is we've actually been able to grow ourselves really strong in the marketing area, in the marketing regard. And so working with companies and creating partnerships with companies that can use services that we do as a nonprofit organization that's spreading kindness in the world and connecting to people and being able to leverage that in a way that it could be able to help bring in funding. But it's definitely difficult. There are a lot of challenges, especially when it comes to donations. But there are ways of going around it, and it's thinking outside of the box and figuring out how you can incorporate strategic partnerships within the entire platform.
I love it.
Awesome. Judy, no road to success is without roadblocks and disappointments. Tell us about a memorable setback and how rather than dragging you down, it lifted you up.
I had a friend who still is in the beauty industry. He owns a skincare cold stone institute, and he was a very good friend of mine. And he was seeing all these posts that I was putting on Facebook of my family and friends and things like that. And he said to me, "You need to go to this agency, bring your portfolio, and you're gonna blow them out of the water. You're amazing. You're the best. You're incredible." And I was like, "Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Thank you so much." And the pictures were taken from like a Nikon that we were just discussing. I had like an old Nikon that I got like 8 years ago. And so I went to this agency. I got the meeting, which is insane. I'm thinking back now, like, how did he give me this meeting? And I walked into the meeting, and he went through my page, and he was like, ooh, like the sound effects. And I was like, every sound effect was like another, like stab in the heart. And as an artist, you take it personally.
I'm gonna cry here.
What?
I'm gonna cry.
You're gonna cry? Don't cry. I cried afterwards, but don't cry now. It's fine. So I ended up, I got really upset, and I held it together. I was like, be a lady, like cry later during a Lifetime movie. Like, you're gonna be fine. There's always wine. And I said, thank you so much for your time. And I left. No, what? Oh, there's always wine. Oh my God, see, I told you. While you guys were busy arguing about the glass of wine, I drank it. I did drink it. I drank a lot of it that night when I left the meeting feeling heartbroken because it's, you're an artist and you think your art is amazing and you think you're fabulous, but there's always gonna be somebody who likes Picasso more than Monet. It doesn't make you any less of an artist. My work was not that great looking back now, but I ended up leaving. I went to my dad's office and then I let everything. I was like, he hated every single picture and he went through everything and it was terrible. And I already had clients at the time. I was a working artist. And so my dad said, okay, so now what? What are you gonna do now? And I said, I don't know. And then I looked at him and I said, I'm gonna come back in a year from now and I'm gonna have a lot better of work. And so I hired better photographers. I connected with people that were more on the same page as me artistically. And a year and a half later, I made the same appointment with the same agency. And I walked in and with a new professional book. It wasn't like a binder from Staples, which is, looking back now, like Staples, really? Like the cheaper one? Like I couldn't get the $6.95, I got the $5.95. And I walked in with my new, and it was imprinted, and it had my name on it, and he opened it up, and he was like, I saw his face, and there was no sound effects, thank you, Lord. And he kept flipping and flipping, and he said, okay, all right. And he looked at me, and he said, have I met you before? Have you been here before? And I looked at him, like, this is the drive that like pushed me for the past year and a half. Like I sweat, cried, had blood from this guy in my all my artistry. And I said, I think we met before. I'm not quite sure. And I didn't end up signing with the agency, but it was that failure, that feeling place, can either take you and say, you know what, this guy's right. My work is terrible, or you can say, maybe he has an opinion. He's been in the agency world for a lot of years. Let me take this advice and move forward. And in life, you have to just keep moving forward, and that's what I did. And having the acceptance from this agency.
Listen and learn.
Sometimes as
open
an
to
artist, your talent needs to catch up to your taste. So your talent is at level 1, but your taste is at level 10, and you don't really see that, and sometimes unless it's reflected back at you from someone else, and it could be very disappointing.
Yeah.
But push through.
Yeah, thankfully everything worked out, and I still have the book. I should have brought it with me, but it's a really good book. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, art is not known for being particularly lucrative, but you managed to monetize it in under a year. How did you do that?
Well, I was cash flow positive from day one because, as I mentioned, I really only started working with it when someone reached out to me to place an order. And then when I hired that assistant for the first staging, I had already had some sales from prior clients that I had reached out to. And I actually reinvested every single dollar I made back into my business to grow my business. So I would have sales. As I got more sales, I started growing my expenses, growing my business. I hired more assistants. I got my studio. I hired a publicist when it became necessary. My supplies are very expensive. I have 3 full-time art assistants who help me paint. My art is very labor intensive. Each piece requires about 40 to 80 hours of work, and I need to be able to produce. First of all, I need to meet my demand. So if I was only producing 1 artwork every 2 weeks, not a lot of money. But it is for my artwork, it's very difficult to really monetize as well as other artists. For example, I went to a studio visit in Keith Haring's old studio. I don't know if you guys know Keith Haring, but he's major. And
Major.
His studio assistant, he passed a long time ago, but his studio assistant basically told me that he would make 16 paintings in one night. I can't do that. So I am working now on monetizing my business through products. As artists, you have different means of monetizing. You can do art reproductions as opposed to originals. I am foraying into products, putting my art designs on basically everything that you find in the home, picture frames, vases, table, anything that you find on the table, ultimately, God willing, furniture. So that is how I plan to continue monetizing. But a lot of artists license their designs to, they sell products via Society 6, Alvergal, but it is very difficult. It's definitely a difficult industry to make a lot of money, and I would like to make a lot of money, so you need to be able to do it in your sleep, and that is through mass production.
Awesome.
Okay. Eve, when one door opens, another closes. We should all remember that. Oh, no, when one door closes, another opens. I said it wrong. Okay. A change in the wholesale business you work for prompted you to look for something new. And I'm sure there were very scary steps along the way when you were changing businesses. Tell me about them and dealing with fear of starting, because I'm sure a lot of these women are afraid.
So before I started everything that I was doing, I was working at a desk, like an ordinary person, desk job, and filing papers, and basically doing something that I wasn't enjoying. And, the business, I left and had to change. I had to figure out what I was going to do to make money. Taking care of my family and my kids. I have 2 kids. And figuring out a way how I was going to make money, but also do what I love. So it was funny because at that point, I was already done with my weight loss goals. And I already wanted to do the next step in paying it forward and helping people. And I said, you know what? Why don't I do it? And I did it. I went to school. I studied it. I experienced it. Let me share it. So that's what led me into really taking the failure and turning it into a positive, because I'm not going to stay down there. I want to get right back up. So
How
it
did you
really
actually
pushed me.
start it? How did you go into business?
With the health coaching and everything else? Well, I needed
What was
direction.
the first step you took? The
I
first
needed
cr-
direction, first of all, and the people that helped me really led me into where I needed to go to make it happen and to be where I am today.
Okay.
And
How did you get the word out there? Instagram or?
yeah, most of my clients were through Instagram, and really all of them. Like, social media is everything. I mean, without social media, I don't think I would have, and especially with the community. Everybody's so great and everybody's so supportive. And also with the help of Erwin, you know, he also led me through everything that I had to do.
Run, Succeed. Okay.
Awesome. Sheva, you run and own a marketing firm. As an expert, give us some practical advice about taking your business to the next level. Is it all about the logo? Is it about hiring a great staff? What else is involved?
So I can't begin to tell you how often clients will walk in and make this misconception that if they have a logo, they have a business. I can't begin to tell you how wrong that is. The reason for it is that a logo it's literally like if you want to say you want to make dessert, sugar, sorry, that's a bad word here, but it's an ingredient, right? So a logo is an ingredient. It's part of what is your brand. It's part of what is your company. And what really, if you're starting a company, if you're starting an organization, if you're starting a business, what you have to think about is, what is my brand story? You have to literally pretend that your brand, your company is sitting right next to you. What would it be wearing? Honestly, you really have to think, is it going to be wearing a pair of jeans and a t-shirt? Is it wearing high heels and really, all dressed up? Is it, if you would go out to eat with it, what would it order? If you were out at a social gathering with it, would it be, quiet?
I love this. I love it.
And the more you could
And it
visualize,
applies to every business, not
every
to
single
every
business. And that's part of what we do when we sit down with a client. We go into this visual process. I always joke with my husband. My husband's a therapist, and I always say, "You think you do therapy? I do therapy." You really have to go into this visual process of fully picturing your brand. What do they look like? What are the jokes they laugh about? What are they, what's their dream vacation? And all those things are what build the brand. And when you have that brand story and you really could see it in front of you, it is from there that the logo is conceived, because the logo becomes a manifestation of that brand story. And sometimes businesses go through different processes. Sometimes they say, I just got to start, and they create something and they run with it. And then they engage in this process of due diligence and really going inward and figuring out and asking those questions. The right way is to really start first with those questions and sit down and go into that proper
I love that.
process.
I think it's very helpful.
So I really cannot stress enough that anyone here who's sitting and planning to start a company or a business to really give that thought, because later on, if you think about some of the companies that exist, and if you think about it, because a lot of times you also have to remember, it's not what you say that your company is, it's what they say your company is. Think about any store that, you love or you just naturally connect to and you can't fully describe it. That comes from a brand story. And those stories are sometimes organically built, but many times even that organic building is part of first understanding what is the deeper part of what my company is. So any business, that model definitely applies to, and that's a big part of what we really try to do and handhold the business through it to be able to help them achieve that.
Very helpful. Okay, Orly, you've expanded your brand internationally. Tell us how.
So it started with the film. The film was a very big part, and that came down to social media. Social media was the only reason I was able to grow the organization to where it has been.
I think social media helped every single one of you.
Definitely. I mean, it's a very big factor. Again, there's like you can always look at the negative, but there's always positive as well. So it started with the film that I posted up online. I knew nothing about social media marketing or even how to upload a video to YouTube. Seriously.
You studied film in school, you
I
said.
studied film in school, but it had been 7 years since I had done film. I used both of my majors in school. I majored in
And maybe
film
social
production.
media wasn't around before
No,
that.
social media was not there, but I majored in film production and English, and it turns out I actually did utilize film production in making my film, as well as English, which was my second major in putting together my first book that just came out this past year. But the film, when it first got posted, I had no idea how anyone was going to see it. And I was a super, super perfectionist, so I didn't want to I didn't even want to post it up yet because I didn't have my website ready, and I'd have this ready and that ready. And it was 2 months of me starting to work on it, and I'm like, how come things are just not coming together? You know, and I said, all right, you know what, I'm just going to put this film up online, and I'm going to see what happens, what it does. Maybe it'll inspire somebody. I have no idea. So I posted it up, and the film just went crazy viral. I remember thinking, this is just what happens when you post a video on YouTube. And all I was doing, I didn't have a website. All I was doing at the time was responding to comments. Thousands and thousands of comments a day on YouTube. Responding, and people are not used to people responding to their comments on YouTube. There was not a comment that got left behind any language. People are like, wow, how do you speak all these languages? Google Translate was my best friend, by the way, at the time. And 21 hours out of a day was just focused on connecting to people, but really connecting. It wasn't about trying to push my brand or what I wanted to build. It was just connecting to people, specifically because it had to do with kindness. And then slowly, I built a Facebook page, and I started, shifting people over there, and then getting my website built, and one after the other. The film is actually what led me to have a spot to speak at TED, which really opened
You
up
should
the
all go
door.
home and watch her TED Talk. It's amazing.
It was a pretty crazy process of how that came to be, but that really opened a tremendous amount of doors for me. What really took the organization international in an even bigger way. So like I said, it started with the film, and then from there, I organized the first ever Dance for Kindness. I wanted to do this event to kick off World Kindness Day. I had no idea how I was going to reach the place that I wanted to reach, but I knew I wanted to get this all around the world. So I put up a post on Facebook. That was it. And I said, hey guys, and I made a video, and I'm like, hi. I'm like, I want to do this event. It's called Dance for Kindness. It's going to be a worldwide flash mob. Does anybody want to take part in running this event in their city? So I got 30 responses back from 30 different cities, people in 30 different places, and I put together a handbook. Now we have a crazy system so that we could bring on many, many, many group leaders. We have applications from over 500 people a year to become group leaders to run the event in their cities.
Yeah.
But it started just with putting up a post and not being afraid that things aren't perfect. I'm going to say this, I am a perfectionist, but you can't worry about being perfect. You have to just start, because you're never going to know. There's not a perfect formula. Everybody's going to have their perfect formula that they're going to say it works for them. But the only way to build something is not to be afraid. We get in our way the most. That is what gets in the most. We get in our own way. We have all these misconceptions of what happens if it doesn't work like this or it doesn't work like that. But if you know the reason why you're doing something, the how will find its way to you. But always remember why you're doing it. That's the most important thing. And again, for me, personal connection, especially in an organization that's to do with kindness, how to reach all of these people. We happen to have kindness ambassadors. We have a program called the Kindness Ambassador Program. It's an virtual online program where people come together and they connect with one another, and they receive like a kindness task once a week, but they also connect with each other and they learn about each other's culture, because education is the key to tolerance. This started off as a fluke. We have it right now in 120 countries. How did it start off? I was doing a crowdfunding campaign. It was my first ever crowdfunding campaign, 2013, and I needed to raise money. I invested all my own funding into this organization, over $150,000. And I needed to now turn to people to ask them to contribute. Otherwise, how is it going to continue? So I decided I was going to put effort into this crowdfunder. By the way, it takes a lot of effort to organize a crowdfunder, but it's very well worth it. And I wanted to find 100 people. That's it, only 100, that were going to sign up to become a kindness ambassador. What was a kindness ambassador at the time? You signed up, you got this ambassador badge, so it made you feel like you're part of something, And every day for 30 days, I would send you an email with a link, a Facebook link or Twitter. At the time, Instagram wasn't around. And you would click on it and you would share it to make it easy for people to share about my campaign to raise money. That was it. 2,000 people signed up in the first 2 weeks.
Wow.
I was like, this is crazy. So I started realizing people really want this as a great opportunity. So not only am I just going to give them a link to share about the campaign, I'm going to put in an act of kindness every day. The 30 days finished. We succeeded to raise the goal. We wanted to raise $75,000. We raised $77,000 in 30 days. And after it was over, people started emailing me. Orly, I missed these kindness ambassador
want
emails.
you back. They
What's
want you
going
back.
on? So we started doing the kindness ambassador program, and it turned into something else.
It's amazing.
And now we have well over 6,000 ambassadors in over 120 countries from all different
It's really
religions
global.
and races,
It's
really
crazy.
global, that are taking the concepts and incorporating them into their own community. Because when they make a change in their community, that's going to change the whole entire world.
Amazing.
So awesome, Orly.
Amazing.
Thank you. That was awesome. Judy, hairdressers and makeup artists have only two hands. How can you grow your business past the number of clients that you personally can work on in one day? Also, what tips do you have for other people in the service industry?
So Liz was just speaking about this. I only have two hands, and I haven't trained my feet yet to work on other clients. So what I have to do now is I'm actually in the works of creating a product line myself. So you can move forward in that way. You can move forward in creating a team. For me, I'm not comfortable right now like creating a team, but maybe one day I will. I'm also planning on writing a makeup how-to book. So there's
Awesome.
other things that you can do to move forward. In terms of giving advice to people if they're already in a business, having contracts, having cancellation fees, making sure that your time is known as valuable. I know a lot of the times people read my emails and they're like, oh my
Building
God.
respect.
It's building respect. It's, my time is very valuable.
You have
to
to have
me.
respect for yourself for other people to
100%.
respect you.
Yeah.
It's important.
Time is money. My time is money, and I get booked from months in advance for a slot. So I need to make sure that if the person's going to cancel, I'm
They do
still
it
gonna.
early.
Yeah. So there's different contracts you can put out. And for me also, people always laugh at my emails. They're like, you're like a MICFA lady, and you're crazy, and if I'm 2 minutes late, you're not going to take me. And guess what? They're always on the dot on time. So
Perfect.
it works
Perfect.
out.
Elizabeth, you engage a lot on Instagram. What are some of the assets to growing your social media presence? How do you make money from having followers, more followers?
Okay, so I think everyone up here can agree that social media has been invaluable for your business, and I'm going to give you basically a very brief rundown on how social media works. The main platforms are Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and Snapchat, and each has a different purpose. Instagram is the platform that is the most friendly towards visuals, and it is the social media platform that has the highest conversion rate for revenues. So that means that Instagram is the social media platform that leads to the most sales. When I first started, about 70% of my sales came through Instagram.
Wow.
Now it's more like 50% because a lot of it is word of mouth. I have my art up in spaces. But you need to really be dedicated to your social. To be honest, I find my social media to be the most annoying part of my work because it means I'm always on my phone. But it is essential to my work. I have my interns who are sitting right there filming me, creating content. If you want to have successful social media, you need to be consistent. It means you need to post every single day. You need to hashtag because that's the way that people view your page. You need to cross-promote. You need to reach out to other influencers, tag one another. When I first started, I basically hit up Nicole and a bunch of other girls who I knew had a bunch of followers to see if, Nicole photographed my apartment, which had my work in it. I reached out to a bunch of other girls who I knew had some followers. I gifted them some artwork. They came to my studio. They wrote about me. But you really need to be
Gifting
consistent.
works,
Yes.
I've been told.
So that's how I started. At this point, I really don't gift unless you are Kendall Jenner, to whom I did gift artwork, which was good. But for example, I see Chaya in the crowd right now. She gifted me these earrings. I happened to be wearing a pair of earrings at the Cannes Film Festival. I got photographed for the Hollywood Reporter. Good PR for her. I think a lot of it is about supporting one another. I am currently working on a women's networking group to basically reach out to my biggest contacts, people who are very social media aware, to create basically a platform as to how we can cross-promote one another. It's not about competing with each other, kind of like Orly said, it's really about empowering one another. Another person who reached out to me on Instagram, Margalit, she's right there, sent me this random email. You don't know me, but I don't want you to, I'm an artist too. I don't want you to think of me as competition. I said, why would I think of you as competition? There's room for everybody. Everybody has something unique about their work and their products. So it's about promoting and empowering.
I love it. I love it.
I just want to add another thing that I completely agree fully with everything that you said, that collaborations are really, really a super powerful tool to also growing your social media following and your business in general. One of the things that our company does is a lot of photo shoots in order to promote work. And when different companies join in, there are some that have higher followers, large following and a lot of people and a big client base, and some that are starting out. And when you collaborate different parties, they're all able to be a part of it. So sometimes people think like, why should I, like Judy was saying it earlier, why should I
Be
come
nice
in?
to each other.
Yeah, and it really, really
Play
works.
good in the playground.
I've seen it work tremendously where someone, comes into play and collaborates with other companies, and later on it comes to help grow their following, and it really is a
It always comes back.
huge
The
tool to
boomerang
collaborate.
effect, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I would love to add on that as well because, I think it's just that it's been implanted into our minds ever since we were younger, because that's how society has been for so many years, that for one person to be up, someone else has to be down. That's just not the case. There's plenty of room for everybody. And like you said, if you take a look at how you can actually help someone else, it ends up coming back to you. Now, that doesn't mean you're supposed to go out and seeing how you can help someone else because you know it's going to benefit you. It doesn't work that way. It's actually genuinely wanting to help someone. For example, talking about collaboration. So our biggest platform happens to be YouTube because we're very film-based. So, we happen to have a nice amount of subscribers on YouTube, and I connect with various YouTubers to do different types of collaboration. And there's this one artist that I absolutely love. She's amazing. Such a beautiful voice. I happen to be going on a cross-country tour in a couple of months to promoting my book and speaking in different locations. And I said, this is a great way for me to be able to bring her along. She already has a nice following. And to give her the opportunity to be able to sing in each of the locations, each of the venues where I'm going to be presenting, and help her develop her own craft. So she's joining me.
You can help other people, and you can help
100%.
yourself at the same
100%.
time.
But one thing I do want to say about social media, because I think is really important. Yes, it's very important, social media, but don't get trapped in the bubble. It's very easy to get trapped in the bubble of looking at your value only based on numbers. It's very easy to look at what everybody else is doing and allow yourself to feel lower because you're not there yet. It's so easy to do that, and every single person does it. That is not where your value is placed. If you continue to develop relationships that are genuine and authentic, the numbers are going to come. Don't worry about them. Don't chase the numbers. Develop the relationships.
Elizabeth, you talk to all your followers, I know.
Well, I'm very open on my social because I've kind of noticed the behavior of my social media, and that my users like when I am open. That's when I have the highest engagement rates. But something that I just learned actually while doing more research is for people who are looking to boost their SEO, it's your search engine optimization. Basically, when you go into Google, if you put Elizabeth Sutton art or something like that, Pinterest is actually the social media platform that is the best for boosting your SEO. So I just started a Pinterest. Create mood boards, but you need to create captions. That's the only way it's going to capture that SEO. You need to put your name or your company's name, and that's how Google's algorithms basically work to generate the top news articles that come up.
Perfect. Eve, you used the word efficient a lot of times when we spoke, when describing your business. How did you streamline your business to create that efficiency, and how do you still keep the brand at your fingertips?
So, of course, it's bringing in that same discussion with collaborating. And it's funny because everyone always tells me, oh my gosh, how does she do everything? They always think like I'm doing a million things at one time. But really, it's bringing in the right people that are going to help
you.
Not just me, but my
What kind of people
clients.
did you bring in?
So I've been working with Alice Chira. She's a life coach. And I've been working with Gladys Hedaya, who's an aromatherapist, and bringing in all the necessities that your platform needs.
Right.
So that's really
you-
making the relationship and building it, and not thinking that, like, sometimes
Not be
people
afraid to
even-
pay to hire people
Yeah.
to make your business
Yeah,
make
because
more money.
then people start
You
thinking
need
that-
help. Sometimes you need to hire people.
Yeah, and
Okay.
sometimes people feel like they're getting, like you're getting a kickback, but you're really not. And it's really just building that strong relationship, and I think that's what really matters.
Okay, guys, 5-year plan. Start with Judy.
I'm probably going to have a makeup line already out.
I hope so.
Thank you. And a book. That's what I see.
Elizabeth.
5-year plan to have this product line, and God willing, I'll have retail stores at that point as well.
Amazing.
5-year plan to be able to grow the business to the place that I'm able to do a lot more pro bono work, because good causes is really where my line of work started. So I want to be able to help a lot more good causes out there.
Great.
Is to develop our representative program in countries around the world where they're going to be able to be a sustainable model, similar to how Chabad has grown in their way, where they're autonomous branches of the organization, and we're ready on our way towards that.
I love it.
Probably doing a couple of cookbooks and hopefully opening a restaurant.
Wow.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, so what am I doing here? So I'd like to introduce Karen Sabag. She's a bridal and evening wear designer. She's my friend. She actually designed a dress for my daughter Sheila, and she was a pleasure to work with and amazing. Girls, thank you so much. Give them all a round of applause. That was amazing, amazing.
Since the purpose of the event is to get people involved and exceed, let me just tell you, it's an amazing organization. I've gotten invaluable advice from her brother, Mark Adjmi. Really, take advantage of this resource. A lot of very smart people in this community, very successful.
Great. Ask for help. That's what we're here for. Karen, I leave it to you. She's amazing, Karen.
Don't use that one.
Don't use this one? Yeah, good one.
Thank you. No, let me just put my. Hi everyone, how are you? The key to success, coffee. Okay. It's an honor to be here. I want to thank Women Exceed Network for inviting me today to speak about women in business. I'm here today to talk about women in business, successful women in business. A successful woman in business is a person that has a passion and a strong determination. A woman who believes in herself, a woman who sets goals and works with desire to be great. A success comes with obstacles, up and down, positive and negative. Success is measured by how hard you work and the will to get the job done. The will that turns into dreams, the dreams that become reality. The reality is, it takes everything. I'm going to talk about the foundation, family, which teaches us about love and passion. The family that gives us confidence, support to believe in yourself. Family gives you beliefs and values, drive to your focus. Family instills your education. Education takes you to another level. Education brings you closer to your goals. Family and education help you become a successful businesswoman. I want to thank my parents, especially my mom, who's here today, for guiding me, powered me forward, believed in me, supported me, and loved me. I'm a proud parent of 3 beautiful kids, and I know the importance of encouraging and supporting and loving your children. I'm here today because I have a passion. I love fashion. That's my passion. The women sitting here today have a passion. To fulfill your passion,
there's a path. Your path is the direction to your goals. The path that takes you your strength, your energy, and your whole lot of time. When you reach the end of your path, you succeeded. You have reached your goals. However, success needs to be altered, just like everything. New goals are needed, a new path is made, new designs are created, and the drive inside starts again. Fashion is my passion. I am Karen Sabag, a bridal evening wear designer, where I get inspired every day, surrounded by beauty. Fashion is beauty with no end. Fashion is a very tough industry, a big industry, a worldwide industry where a lot of people want to become designers. It's very competitive, but if you believe in yourself and look forward and don't look at your neighbors, your dreams will come true. There are many responsibilities. There's a lot of hours. It's a constant change. You need to stay focused and worry about you, just like any other business. As tough as it is, it's a beautiful industry. Especially when you see your art become reality. Fashion is respect between you and your clients. Fashion is beauty with no end. Fashion is endless. I fell in love with fashion and its mystery. The mystery in creativity, creativity bringing beauty to life. My beauty in fashion began at a very early age. I grew up in a house of fashion, watching my mom create beauty. This beauty gave me drive and focus. I attended Fashion High School. I graduated from Fashion Institute of Technology with honors. I showcased my first collection in New York Fashion Week at age of 23. And since then, I have been creating new collections every season. I have showcased my collections in different cities and countries for the past 10 years. I have sold my bridal line in Kleinfeld and many other stores. I have designed private collections for different boutiques. I have opened a second location in Manhasset, Long Island, about 4 years ago. It's down the block from Americana Mall, which opened new doors to new clientele, stylists, personal shoppers, and celebrities. As much as my new location opened new doors to me, I will not forget where it all started, in my mom's Brooklyn location on Avenue U. At this moment, I want to thank this beautiful, elegant, most fashionable, and powerful community I ever worked with. I want to thank the community for supporting and giving me the opportunity to show my passion. I will never forget where it all started. Behind every business, there is a work team who is extremely important. You have to hire the right people, and it's a lot of trust. It's very important in your success who works for you. I want to thank my work team who puts a lot of time and effort to complete these beautiful art pieces. Behind every success, there's a person that supports you and encourages you. I want to thank my husband for being always a partner in my passion, even though his birthday is in June, the most busiest time of the year, and I never get to see him. He's a huge part of my success. But lastly, I want to thank my mom for being with me every step of the way. She is my inspiration, and I love you. Thank you, everyone. I want to introduce Kim Daba, the president of Women Exceed. Thank you, Kim.
Karen, you're awesome. Our panel was awesome. Sophia and Nicole, thank you so much. They're my partners every year. I'd like to also thank the team from Exceed, Erwin, Emily, Rue, Raquel, everybody. And I also want to thank everybody for coming. I think if I get the thumbs up, we'd like to introduce our keynote speaker, Melanie Whelan, the CEO of SoulCycle. If she takes a minute to get down here, I just want to tell everybody that every year we have an event for Women Exceed. And just so you know, as Sophia said, we're very proud of all the community businesses that there are and how they've expanded and how many new businesses have started. I just want to tell you that Exceed is here for you to give you business advice. We put teams of people together with you to help you prevent making mistakes and to move forward. I think we have somebody coming up now.